All right. Well, we're just going to take a look here at the storms over Wednesday and Thursday. Just take a kind of a quick look and a general summary, and then we can kind of take any questions, and then we can dive a little deeper into it as well if we want afterwards, if people want to stick around and just kind of see the thinkings behind it all. But we'll just kind of go on and get into what we're going to be expecting here now for the next couple of days. So for tonight, we're looking at these rain showers developing in the northwestern parts of North Dakota tonight, out ahead of a warm front or upper level jet stream that or lower level jet stream that fires these things off late tonight into early tomorrow. And that rain is going to be hanging around through the morning hours tomorrow morning. Now, as we get later in the day, we're taking a look at one of the models here, and they're starting to fire off. Some storms already down into southeastern parts of North Dakota. Now, the thing about that is that's not exactly where the best instability is, where the surface instability is, but it's rather where some of the upper level instability is occurring. So they want to fire some of these storms off by mid-afternoon-ish and really develop them to the north and east and then spread kind of southward as it goes along. Now, in the meantime, a little bit later in the day, as we get to that 4 to 5 p.m. time frame, there are these storms that want to develop down into far southeastern parts of South Dakota. Now, those are in the more moisture-rich area. Those are in the areas where their dew points are going to be quite high. The Cape's going to be quite high. So the Cape, as I've talked about before, that's the amount of gunpowder in the gun. If you think about a gun, it's like if you really pack it full of powder, it's going to pack a big punch. And so down there, it's got a little bit more surface gunpowder to work with, and it's and that's kind of the stuff that a lot of times the hail and tornadoes can work off of, as if it's more surface based. So you've got kind of two areas that are expected later in the day on Wednesday. Now, this area further north really wasn't depicted very much in the Storms Prediction Center. They've got the slight risk for Wednesday a little more down and through here, and that's because they're watching this stuff that's going to be developing down in the southwest or in the southern parts of our region, and that area is going to move to the north and east. Now, I think they're probably going to stretch that a bit further west because of some of these storms that the models are now picking up on. But at any rate, we're looking at these storms developing in the north and in the south, and kind of covering a good part of Minnesota. Now, these areas down in the south is going to start off as kind of a big hail, maybe some tornadoes, and then as they get organized into more of a line and begin to move quickly to the north and east, it's going to become more of a wind damage type of event as we go into the nighttime hours. So as we kind of take a look at what this model does, you can see that stuff to the south races to the northeast. And meanwhile, this area to the north kind of taps into some of that moisture that's getting in there. And again, might be some hail, some damaging winds, and can't completely rule out the potential for an isolated tornado or two kind of within this area. So that Brainerd, Detroit lakes, it could has the potential, maybe Brainerd, Grand Rapids might have the potential of seeing an isolated tornado in that region late in the afternoon into the evening hours. Now, that area to the south continues to quickly move to the east-northeast and kind of joins that area to the north and becomes more of a wind damage event. So as it crosses into the Twin Cities and central parts of the state and eastern parts of the state, we're looking at probably wind damage taking place throughout the overnight hours. So areas in the east, you're going to be looking fairly good. And then all of a sudden overnight, you're going to be hit with some pretty good winds. All right, now as we get into the overnight hours on Wednesday, we see another line of storms begin to develop across South Dakota. Some of these could be severe through the overnight hours, and that again is in response to a low-level jet that sets up overnight. So if you think of these boundaries, and we often talk about warm fronts and cold fronts, and this is a warm front that's about 3,000 to 5,000 feet off the surface. So these are a little more elevated storms. They're going to be probably packing a lot of lightning, some hail, and some wind with these as they move northward through the overnight hours. Here you can see by 6 a.m. they're kind of reaching into southern parts of North Dakota and east central parts of Minnesota. And then they continue to move to the northeast throughout the morning. Now here's going to be kind of the interesting part, is how quickly can these storms move off and let the atmosphere sort of recharge and regenerate, and how quickly can the temperatures rebound? Because if these storms move out of the way quick enough, if they're gone, we're going to be looking at the potential for some pretty good storms developing. As you can see, kind of south central to southeastern parts of North Dakota, and then down into eastern parts of South Dakota. And it looks like the best areas for tornadic activity is going to be kind of right in through here. If you want to watch that area as it kind of progresses to the northeast throughout, no, that was the end of this model. We'll have to switch over to the other one. But as those particular storms kind of move east, northeast, they're kind of the ones that are more primed for the possibility of tornadoes. So this is going to be, and here we're looking somewhere between that 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. time frame on Thursday evening. So we go over and we take a look at maybe a model that reaches out a little bit further. And we look into Thursday, basically take a look to see what this particular model does. And you can see kind of the same thing the last one does. Move these storms further to the north and east and kind of get them out of the way through the afternoon hours. And then another area of storms develop. Now this one's a little different, obviously. You know, every storm has every model has a little different solution. But it really develops a very vigorous line into eastern parts of South Dakota later in the evening. Now, again, the biggest threat for tornadic activity remains kind of in the north end, is probably where the best shear is, where the best rotation is going to be, just due to the upper level winds and just various factors like that. But either way, as these storms do take off and begin to develop and move to the east and north, they will develop into a line and probably cause considerable wind damage as they do so. They're going to be very, very, very fast movers. These storms tomorrow on Wednesday and then again on Thursday are going to be very quick to move. So they're going to develop into a line on Thursday, move to the east. This line, the southern part, is going to be kind of moving more towards the east, is what the apparent motion is going to be. Meanwhile, this northern area is going to kind of bow out to the northeast. So we're going to have to watch these areas. And then obviously the most dangerous area when you talk about bow echoes, if it develops like this, is going to be kind of in that Fargo, Fergus Falls, Detroit, Lakes, Brainerd area through the overnight hours Thursday night. Now, we're going to kind of back this up and take a look at what this particular model does for Wednesday. We took a look at the HRRR. Now we're going to take a look at the North American, the NAM, the 3-kilometer model here, and just get a feel for what this does for Wednesday. Now, you can see about the same thing. I mean, it wants to develop storms a little bit further north than what the HRRR was doing. So now this particular model has got these storms further north. And again, possibility of maybe some severe weather with that, mainly some hail and some wind. And then you've got this area further down to the south, the southeastern parts of South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota. And again, those areas are still looking like they're more tapped into the low level moisture. Those are the areas that are have the higher probability of tornadic activity, especially early on in the evening hours on Wednesday evening, and then the potential of hail as well. And then that line also begins to push to the northeast and bow out. And so this becomes more of a wind damage event as well. And then the stuff kind of to the north, it kind of loses its fizz and energy, and a lot of this energy gets taken up by these storms that develop further to the south. So not quite as organized on this particular model, but there is still the possibility of these storms that are, maybe developed early on into the late afternoon, early evening hours, may have an isolated severe report or two until these storms further to the south get going. And then really that becomes the dominant feature overnight Wednesday night. And then kind of like the HRRR model does develop some storms, not quite of a line like that one did, but still a few storms that develop overnight, maybe an isolated severe report or event with that. And then again, those move off to the northeast, and we get this line that develops late in the day on Thursday. So that's that's the quick version of it, of where we're kind of focusing our energy on. So basically, for Wednesday, with these particular storms that develop later in the afternoon, for Wednesday, we're kind of looking maybe in through here for the possibilities of some severe storms. And then on the southern band, initially down and through here, and then that'll kind of bow out and move to the east-northeast throughout the night, and eventually make its way into the Twin Cities area by late into the night, kind of by midnight, the way it's looking. And you can kind of see how that line develops. And again, kind of interesting how the two different models handle this. This one, the HRRR, a lot more aggressive on these storms. If this one were to come to fruition for Wednesday, there's a lot of energy that just blasts its way north, and eventually this area up here kind of taps into that. So if this were to occur tomorrow, if this particular model is right, like I said, maybe the possibility of an isolated tornado report or two up and through there. So this very dynamic event with this system that's coming out of the Rockies, that's sending wave after wave through our area over the next couple of days. So that is sort of the quick and dirty version of it, I guess. And I guess from here, we'll just kind of go into more the I don't know, what do you call it? The deep. We're going to get deep. We're going to get deep with these storms. Let's sit back, everybody, and let's get deep. Oh boy, they're going to be fun. They're going to be some fun storms to watch. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell button down below, because I will be live, expecting to be live tomorrow, and then for sure on Thursday as these storms roll on through. So we're going to be watching them for you, so make sure you are tuning in to Region Weather Live on the old YouTube. All right, now here's where we take a look at, and again, if anybody's ever got any questions as we roll through this, please let me know. And then you can go back to kind of the beginning of this thing and take a look at where we're looking at for the severe storms exactly. But right now we're kind of going to step through some of the models and what they're showing now. I guess the interesting thing that basically occurs for Wednesday is you see how quickly these dew points move to the north and east. And you see kind of this warm front that develops, and everything to the south of this, is warm and humid. And that's where, that's why we're a little more concerned with this area further to the south once they get going. So just because it has those higher dew points initially. Now, flipping back to the precipitation, you can see where this sharp line is, right? And all the 60s and 70-degree dew points are now south of that line. Well, so we've got a lot of surface powder keg to work with. And so that's where these storms are really going to have to be watched earlier on, because there is so much energy. Now you notice these northern storms eventually kind of work their way into and just kind of start to get into that deeper moisture. And that's kind of where you become concerned with this stuff further north, because now it's got that surface moisture to work with. Now it's got that low level wind shear to work with. If we take a look at the winds at this point, and you kind of focus on where those storms are at, if it ever goes, and there you can see, I mean, storms are kind of right in through here, and you've got these winds that are kind of coming in and just kind of cranking to the left a little bit. They have a little bit of, the winds are going to kind of come out of the east southeast eventually. And so you've got winds essentially coming that direction at the surface, and then, you know, a few thousand feet up, they come this way, and then about 10,000 feet up, they come that way. So you've got this rotation that occurs, this spin that occurs throughout the atmosphere, and that's what we're looking for when we're worried about tornadoes. Now, at this point in the night, and we're looking at 7 p.m. the way it looks. You can kind of see how this begins to bow out, and we're getting, you know, even this model is showing some stronger winds in there, and the browns and the oranges. So even they're looking at the possibility of this kind of bowing out and becoming kind of a strong damaging wind event through the nighttime hours. And so this kind of becomes more organized into that manner. But what it doesn't have is these surface winds that are kind of coming a little more out of the east. So that's where it becomes concerning, is you know, when you have those backing winds, the low level winds are kind of southeasterly, and then you go further up into the atmosphere and they're a little more out of the west. We'll kind of show you here what I mean at the upper levels. This is more at about 10,000 feet here. You can see a little more kind of out of the southwesterly direction. So you've got that spinning, that rotation that occurs in the atmosphere. So just something we're going to have to watch, I guess, as we get into the evening hours. Well, again, I'll have to kind of see how that continues to develop. If this one becomes of this particular model, kind of comes to fruition, it won't be quite as bad, just because it looks like those southern storms really kind of choke off anything to the north. Meanwhile, this one, the HRRR, looks a little more, I guess, worrisome for the evening hours, and then even into the afternoon hours. I mean, late afternoon hours. And the reason why is, again, we've got all this moisture just punching quickly to the north. You know, you look at these dew points and how fast they're surging to the north. So it does eventually kick off these storms. Now they're just kind of on the, they're just ahead of this, and really kind of more in line with the upper level flow. And so that's where they become more elevated. The storms are actually, you know, you look at some of these storms further to the south, and you'll notice the base is a lot lower to the ground, and this stuff further to the north will actually be, the base will be a lot higher. So, and then with that, you know, mainly you're just looking at strong winds and some hail associated with that. So, just a couple things that we have to watch out for on your Wednesday. We take a look at the upper air moisture. And here we are at 4 p.m. and notice how the humidity has just come charging to the north. And they just, I mean, you can just visualize the forcing that eventually occurs in the atmosphere to cause the rising motion. It just, you know, it just kind of jams its way in there, all that moisture that starts moving northward. So that's where we're getting, you know, the possibility of some of those elevated storms into the afternoon hours and evening hours. So we'll see which way pans out when it comes to that. Now, once we get into Thursday, that's a little more, that one can become a little more interesting. That one, you know, we talk about the possibility of tornadic activity and such. That's the one that, we're going to have to keep a little more of an eye on. I'm going to switch over to a different account here. I like using this one sometimes. It just, I see it a little better on this, but it's a little slower on my computer. So again, I've always complained about it, always complain about my computer. My computer sucks. Hopefully someday I'll be able to afford a different one. There is a businessman out there that wants to give me $2,500. I'll put I'll plaster their business on top of my screen anytime there is a severe weather event. How about that for the summer? Let's talk. Brad at regionweatherlive.com. We can make a business deal. Get a better computer. Anyway, here we are on Thursday, and this is, what am I looking? I'm looking at the NAM. And you can see how, boy, you can see how the dew points here are just cranking in through here. And there's 65, 70 degree dew points. Now, I just mentioned how those winds at the surface, might be kind of out at east, southeast. Now, look at that. These are the areas we kind of get concerned about, is right into, we kind of call this the triple point, where you have the warm front, the cold front, and your surface low. And it's kind of right in through here a lot of times, just that area kind of connecting the low, the warm frontal part here, that just, kind of connects just to the low. That's usually, especially up here in the northern plains, that's really the area where we focus a lot of our energy on when it comes to the potential for tornadic activity. So we're going to kind of hone in on this time frame. We're going to click on it, and we're going to take note of these winds. So we've got this frontal boundary here, and we've got these east southeasterly winds at the surface, right? So now we go up. We go a few thousand feet into the air. And now at this point, these are a little more southerly, right? So you've already got that backing. You've already got that rotation naturally occurring. So we'll go a few thousand feet more in the air. Now we're about 2 to 3 miles up in the air. And these winds are a little more kind of out of a southwesterly direction. So you've got this spinning through that's occurring through here. And the other thing we'd like to take a note, that we take a look at, especially at this height, is the winds. And we've got the right exit region of this jet. And the right exit region is always an area that causes a lot of lift. And so it's very favorable for severe weather. So as we take a look at this model, that's why we become kind of concerned, as I've said, kind of in through this area through the afternoon and early parts of the evening, in particular for the possibility of tornadic activity. And then as we go into the night and we move that area, or we kind of continue to move that along, and so now here we are kind of at that 9 and 10 p.m. time frame. We see that nose now a little bit further north at that point. So that activity, the severe activity, the strong winds, the hail, is going to quickly move to the north as we're kind of looking at a line like this. And so that's why this north end is really going to move very fast in the north, and we're going to be concerned with winds and damaging winds. And then within that, maybe some tornadoes that are going to be kind of hiding in there as well. In the meantime, this line's going to move to the east, further to the south. This is going to be more affected by the cold front that's sweeping through. So almost two, it's the same system, but in a way, two different things kind of occurring. Now, I guess the other thing you kind of know, we take a look at the upper level low, or the upper level jet stream, and you notice these kinks in through here. That pretty closely follows where that cold front's going to be. So you can about imagine where that line's going to be at about 9, 10 o'clock in the evening. So as we take a look Let's see here what this particular model is showing at that point. Yeah, and that's about where it lines it up. So you've got these storms that have quickly pushed to the north, and then you've got this line down and through here. So a very interesting day setting up for the day on Thursday. Now dew points at that point at 10 p.m. See where that low now is, and you got those easterly winds poking into Grand Forks, high dew points. That nose of the dew points, that's always kind of an interesting feature as well, when you have the nose of the dew points kind of almost pointing right to where the worst activity is going to be. And then you also have the temperatures as well. So it's funny when you watch it, I guess, because it's like the temperatures and dew points are almost pointing like here, right here. If you want to know where the severe weather is going to be at, it's going to be right here. I'm pointing to it. So that, that's a helpful indicator. So again, this is about 10 p.m. on Thursday is where we're looking. So we've got, some severe storms developing down into south central, southeastern parts of North Dakota, and then with a line further to the south. And then as that low quickly moves to the northeast, we're looking at that line kind of developing up in through here throughout the overnight hours. So, oh, that's interesting. Okay, thank you for that. So as always, if anybody's got any questions as far as a particular area or a particular time that they're looking at, my family has asked me in the past, why can I ask you a question and you can be so accurate? I said, well, because you're asking me for something specific. You're asking me for where and when, and that I can narrow down pretty well. Now, I'm just kind of giving you right now the general version. I'm giving the version for everybody at this point. So, if you're really looking for something specific, I always say, please go ahead and ask. So, but we're going to have to be following these storms as they go into the overnight hours. Now this, the NAM, the 12-kilometer NAM, looks like it, once you get to that midnight time frame, starts to lose some of its punch through the overnight hours on Thursday night. So that would be a good thing. Hopefully that does indeed happen, so that the rest of Minnesota doesn't get nailed. But hello, Aiden Day, nice to see you. Severe for central Minnesota. Any particular time, Logan, or just any time? Central, where are you at, Logan? Yep, there as well, Aiden. My focus is pretty much up. I kind of keep my focus up here. I specialize. This is, I grew up, lived and grew up here in the Dakotas and Minnesota, worked here. So I kind of like to stick around here just because I know the area, I know the towns, I know the cities, and, I know a fair amount of the roads. I know, what goes on here. I know what's important. As I'm just sitting here thinking, and I'm just thinking of the time frame right now. I know a lot of these schools right now are trying to jam in track meets and softball games and baseball games because it's been really, really wet up here. We've had a lot of rain over the last couple of weeks, particularly now in the eastern parts of the state into northwestern parts of Minnesota. And so, there's a lot of us that are trying to a lot of these schools that are trying to get their games in. So, and then of course now on top of that, you have the farmers. They don't want any rain right now. Now you look at this area into northwestern parts of North Dakota, they want the rain. They're happy to get, I think, anything they can get. Eventually they're going to want to get into the fields as well. But they've been really dry up there and they want the rain. They're looking for anything. They had some snow about a month ago, a lot of snow, and they were happy just to get any kind of moisture. Morrison County. Oh, central Morrison County. I got to remember where that's at. Oh, okay. Sure. So kind of must be just north. Kind of, you must be in between St. Cloud and Brainerd, I'm guessing. Yeah. You know, Logan. Yeah, you're you're going to be an interesting one here on Wednesday. I was just showing here the different types of models here, and we have these storms that develop further to the north, and then these storms that develop to the south. And on this particular model anyway, now this ones to the south quickly move to the north and east. So I think you're looking at in that Morrison County area. So if that's where I'm understanding, in between kind of that St. Cloud and a Brainerd area. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still learning the county, so you have to excuse me there. I mean, those are hard to kind of pin down after a while. But anyway, I'll learn them. I'll get those down. But anyway, yeah, you're looking probably at most likely some pretty strong winds coming to you somewhere between that 9 p.m. to midnight time frame. Now, this other model that we've been looking at, yeah, this one has it a little bit later, and it doesn't have those strong of storms to the north kind of slipping down. So you most likely would be, you know, if this one to occur, that would be maybe a little bit later. You'd be on the north end of that, those particular storms as they roll through. So we're looking at mostly winds, strong winds overnight, Wednesday night for your area. Would have to kind of keep an eye on, you know, if this model does, this other one, this HRRR does come to fruition, just the outside isolated chance of a tornado in there. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's going to happen. I'm just saying that, you know, I guess if a report were to happen, wouldn't completely surprise me. But I think really what we're looking at is just the strong winds running through your area by between 9 and midnight Wednesday night. Now, the only other time frame might be you might get a little bit early Thursday morning. And then as we get into later, I got to switch over to this other model. Later Thursday, I would think we're looking at the pretty good chance of some strong winds running through you again. So here we got another line that develops and looking like probably after 10 o'clock again, kind of between that 10 to midnight time frame. This line's going to be running through you some more. So some more damaging winds coming your way, Logan. Hope that answers your question. Yeah, near St. Cloud. I don't know why I didn't see that right away. You just said near St. Cloud. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of what we're thinking for that. You're in Hartford, Wisconsin, Aiden. Well, good to have you on, Aiden, if you're still there. Hartford. Where is Hartford? Oh, okay. Oh, so you're close to Milwaukee. Gotcha. You're a little more closer to Milwaukee. Okay. I don't remember. Did you see any interesting weather today? Out there by in that part of Wisconsin? Yeah, no problem, Logan. If anybody else has got any questions, please ask. Happy to help. Just because we are going to have to be watching some storms. Aiden, I can take a quick look out your direction real quick. I just got to find the right one that I'm looking for. You know, I think most of this stuff over the next couple of days, Aiden, is going to be to your north and west. If I recall right, and that's kind of what's happening here. Maybe, I think your chance might come more Friday. Yeah, you don't have anything over the next couple of days. Let me double check on what Friday looks like for you, Aiden. Active weather pattern. I mean, we're sitting in this the upper level jet is essentially just cranking over us, and it's just it's just spitting these little impulses at us. Very, I mean, it's unusual for this time of year for us. I mean, we're only sitting early to mid part of May, and typically, I mean, storm chasing season doesn't start for us until late May, early June. Usually I say kind of that June 5th to June 20th is prime storm chasing season for us up here. So particularly in, North and South Dakota, sometimes you do get them a little earlier down in that southern parts of South Dakota, Minnesota. But to have them this far north into North Dakota it's a little unusual this time of year. Not to say it doesn't happen, but just doesn't happen that often. All right, Aiden, let's see here. Yeah, I would say for you, Friday is probably the next chance for any type of severe weather, probably any type of weather at all for the most part. Looks like the next kind of line of storms finally moves through your area overnight, Friday night into early Saturday morning. So not real sure. I mean, it looks, I would venture to guess, just quickly looking at this, probably, we're looking at winds and some hail with that. What time we're looking? 75. Let's see what the surface looks like at that point. My slow computer. Again, sorry everybody, very slow computer. Yeah, you got a nose of 60 to 70 degree dew points nosing in. So pretty unstable. I mean, looking pretty interesting for you on Friday night. Way out there. And again, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time out here, but just because you asked. I'm just that kind of guy. I'm just that kind of a nice guy. Take a look at some photographs. Photographs show us the spin in the atmosphere. How much rotate? That's not what I wanted. Why did it give me that? Yeah. Yeah. Probably some winds, Aiden. Winds and some hail for Friday night. That's probably your next best chance for you. Hope that helps. Doesn't appear to be anything tornadic. Looks like not real favorable winds as far as that goes. So that's good. You don't have to worry about that. Well, so I don't know if anybody else has got any questions, or please, as always, hit the subscribe button. Let people know about this. If somebody wants to come on and ask any questions, just because I'm kind of looking at somewhere else doesn't mean I don't have to look. I mean, if somebody else has got a question about the Dakotas or Minnesota and where they're at, or a specific time frame, or they've got something going on, or a softball game, or some kind of event, always never be afraid to ask, as I'm on here live. Yeah, it's a ways out, Aiden. So we'll see. I mean, I'm just saying that's probably your next best chance. It's, I guess I don't know. I don't remember what the SPC had. Let's get rid of some of this. That's the other thing, I guess. Yeah, right now SPC doesn't have anything out for Wisconsin anyway, but for tomorrow, here's kind of what we're looking at for what the Storms Prediction Center is showing. So, they're kind of honing in on these storms developing down here and shooting off to the north and east. They do have this marginal in through here. Again, and I guess the slight risk does go fairly far north, but they keep the tornadic risk a little bit further south. So it'll be interesting just to see what they do with that. I think they're going to probably play it safe and keep it down there. Maybe they'll nudge this 2% up a little bit, just based on what the HRRR is showing. But the other thing I wouldn't be surprised at is if they took this marginal risk and maybe slid it just a bit further north, based on a couple of these models now that are showing some of these storms developing a little bit further north. So just because of the upper level flow, the way it's looking, especially at 850 millibars, where you've got kind of that warm front really nosing its way in. You are safe. 17 more days of school. Good for you, man. Are you a senior? That'd be even better if you're a senior. I've got a kid who's already in college, and a couple more that aren't too far away anymore. So I know the one's going to be a junior next year, and she's already looking forward to graduation. Man, I don't know what it is, but I get on here and I don't know. I got a burp. What is it? Sorry, folks. I don't know. I get a little bubbly. Anyhow. So here's Wednesday. Here's kind of that. We're looking at 850 millibars. So, we talk about kilometer and a half off the ground. And we're looking at all this warm air being transported to the north. So the red is the warm air advection. So you notice where those storms were developing, and that was just north of this. And essentially that continues to kind of push to the north and east. And you can see where some of these areas of the best lift kind of occur in through here. So that's where they're focusing on. That's where some of these storms are getting picked up on Wednesday, and maybe where the prediction center, or where the earlier models really weren't honing in on. Now that this latest model is, again, it's going to be kind of high. It's going to be high level base. So we're looking at hail and some winds, and not surface base. So at that point, especially these areas to the north, won't be tapping in to the real good surface moisture. So, tornadoes wouldn't be much of a threat. It's more down in the south that, especially at the very initial part of it, or during initiation down here, is when the threat for tornadic activity would be, and some of the stronger or bigger hail as well. But you can kind of see as this, these storms do develop through the nighttime hours Wednesday night and quickly push to the north and east. And then you've got this other area that develops overnight. And that's why, these models were popping up some of these storms late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, because you've got more, another frontal boundary, another low-level jet stream that begins to develop and push a lot of warm air further north again. And we get more warm air advection and some more rising. And so that's where some of these storms take place through the overnight hours of Wednesday. And then those move off to the north. And then we get this bigger system here that rolls on through on Thursday. So that's all I've got for everybody. If anybody's got any more questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to bug out here. I've got one other recording to make for a local guy here in town. But we're just, we'll have to keep an eye. And like I said, subscribe and share this. Hit the little bell button after you subscribe. Also, check out the Twitter page at RegionWX, and then be sure to like my Facebook page as well. I'm hoping to have a guy or two out on Thursday that I know they told me they'll make sure and let me know what they see if they go storm chasing. So I'll kind of keep tabs on them. This is going to be Thursday the way they're looking. Maybe I'll tell them to go out tomorrow. Heck, if some of this develops, if they've got the time. But yeah, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the bell button so that your phone lets you know when I'm online. It kind of pops up and says, hey, Brad's online. He's got some, he's tracking the weather. Let's go check it out. Let people know. Sometimes the TV guys do a good job, but they don't always stick with it. They've got their programming that they got to jump to, and they kind of jump in and out, whereas I kind of, I'm planning on sticking with it. I'm going to be watching it and kind of showing you where we're expecting the storms to move and develop and all that fun stuff as we go throughout the next couple of days. And let people know about it. Appreciate everybody who has done so. I'm doing this I do this because I like doing it. I do it because I found a way to get back into meteorology. Done it a number of years ago for a while. Worked for Northwest Airlines for a while. Worked for a local company doing road weather forecasts. Some of you probably don't know what Northwest Airlines is. That was a fun job. And then I've been storm chasing for years. Been doing little weather things here and there, and I just kind of found this outlet, and I thought I'm gonna give this a try because this has always been my passion. I got a degree in meteorology, and we're gonna continue to, if people like what I'm doing, and like I said, I'm doing it because I love doing it, and I live here and I work here, and that's why I say, Aiden, I was kind of saying earlier that I stick with the Dakotas and Minnesota because I grew up here, I worked here. I know, I keep my focus here, so kind of enjoy living here all my life. All right, everybody. So just a quick recap. Storms for Wednesday. We're going to have to keep an eye on some development kind of in through here and see how these exactly develop it. And I'm not saying, these areas to the north, I'm not saying going to be widespread severe. I just think that you're going to get a couple of reports out of there of some hail and some wind, particularly some hail. So we're just going to have to be watching these. And then this area further to the south is going to be more tapped into the low level moisture. And they're going to start off with some large hail, maybe a few tornadoes on the south end. And then it's going to develop into a damaging wind event through the overnight hours on Wednesday. Some more storms develop through the overnight hours and then move to the north and east. And it's just a matter of how quickly can the atmosphere rebound before the next round gets going. And Thursday is really going to be interesting. I think we're looking at I think we're going to be looking at a lot of wind damage reports rolling through here. And then if this does develop right, areas down here gotta watch out for the potential of tornadic activity. Not those storms, Aiden. You're not getting anything till Friday, remember? Interesting. Don't know what this is about. So anybody else got any questions, let me know, particularly for the, like I said, I'm watching the Dakotas and Minnesota the next couple of days. That's my focus. That's my, oh God, do I want to say what the kids say? That's my jam. Is that still a thing? Is that still what you say? I don't know. But we're focusing in on, just because we've got a lot of these dew points just come charging to the north. And it's so interesting, I guess, just to see how this pans out. Unusual. I mean, just crazy. I mean, I guess I think of last year, as we got into late May, we were seeing temperatures into the hundreds for highs. So now a year later, now we're looking at dew points in the 60s to 70s. So two years in a row where your May's kind of started off a little wonky. But anyway, again, not to say that it can happen, but we're looking at the possibility of some severe weather. Look at all those dew points. I mean, 70-degree dew points. That's just crazy. That's crazy. We're only in May. We're only in May up here, and we're talking 60s to 70-degree dew points. A lot of times that happens. I mean, it just seems to happen more into June and July, because it takes a while for some of that moisture from the Gulf to eventually work its way up here. But we've had a lot of rain the last couple of weeks, and that certainly has helped. There's you look at some of the satellite pictures. I haven't looked for a couple of days, but you can actually see a lake that's developed, north of that area, north of Grand Forks, into Winnipeg. And then there you've got some areas up and through here that dealing with flooding, that where they've got, they actually had Black Hawk helicopters come in and lift, I think it was 1-ton sandbags, and dropping them near on a dam, to make sure that it wouldn't give way. The farmers up here, just throughout the region up and through here, they're itching to get into the fields. Meanwhile, I think some of you down through South Dakota could actually use some rain still. Oh, okay. Shoot. Grand Marais, doing a bit of exterior painting. Well, I got a paint job you can do for me if you want to come here. If you want to drive west on Highway 208, that would be great. Grand Marais. Let's see, I'm forgetting exactly how far east that's way up there. You're way up. We're way up there. I don't think until, later in the night, the way this is looking. So, it's definitely, I would say after 6 for sure. Let's see what this particular model's showing. And then this one's almost even a little later. That actually gives you a bit of a lake breeze, some lake type of showers off of there later or into the evening hours. So, excuse me. I guess that'd be something to take a look at, that maybe the models aren't doing a good job of honing in on. So I guess we can take a look at that and just see if there's any threat of rain before that main line rolled through. Got a couple different computers here, so I'm looking off on another one here. I'm cheating. Yeah, I think Grand Marais is looking pretty dry for tomorrow. So hopefully you can get most of your exterior painting in before, we'll say 7 o'clock, and then after that, I think I'll just say all bets are off after that point. Yeah, because even at that 70, even just to be conservative, I mean, that sounding here that we're looking at up in Grand Marais, not very moist, at least according to this model, according to the NAM. Plenty of dry air in between here. This is the temperature forecasted in the dew point. So obviously these two need to be close together, and they're not, especially down at the surface. So I think you have at least till 7, the way this would look. So we're just kind of covering the possibility of severe weather today. Kind of talked a lot about it already. So if you want to go back and kind of hit the slider further back, and just kind of give an overall feel for what we're looking at for the next couple of days. Otherwise, just kind of taking general questions to see what we're going to be looking for. St. Cloud and Sauk Rapids. Yep. Had another guy in there. He was kind of in your same area, John. Yeah, you guys did. Yeah, you got hit. All right. Yeah, was it golf ball size hail down in St. Cloud? Did I see that right? Trying to remember. The other day, yeah, did you get hit twice? Well, you got hit in the morning, and then I think later in the afternoon you had some storms develop, but I don't think they got severe until after St. Cloud, if I recall correctly. Oh God, what movie is that dumb thing from? Well, no, that's not a movie. That's just Will Ferrell. But anyway, St. Cloud for Wednesday. For your Wednesday, yeah. Later in the evening, we've got these chance of storms that are, that's not the model run I want. I want that one. Slow computer, folks. Sorry. Slow computer alert. As I joked about earlier, if anybody's got a company or a business that wants to advertise, shoot me a message and buy me a better computer, and I'll put your name up top on any severe weather event over the summer, because I'm getting tired of working with the stuff I've got right now. Anywho, yeah. St. Cloud area. This one model, we've got kind of two areas that's developing throughout the time frame. You got this one to the north and this one to the south. This one to the south is probably the best shot for severe storms throughout the overnight hours. So St. Cloud, you're looking at somewhere after that 8 o'clock time frame for these storms to roll through. Mostly going to be looking at a wind damage event, maybe not so much hail at that point, as they're going to be kind of screaming through. If you're talking specifically about St. Cloud, I guess if you're a little bit further north into maybe Brainerd or so, I mean, there's the possibility that some of these, if it does tap into the dew points that kind of are surging northward through the overnight hours, if the HRRR pans out like this, maybe some of these would be packing some larger hail, and then also the outside chance of an isolated tornado as well. Not to say that this line can't develop, can't spin up some brief tornadoes. That is possible just because the movement, the quickness of these storms. Sometimes you can get the QLCS type of tornadoes that develop within that, but the main threat's going to be hail, I think, wind for St. Cloud. And then again, we'll flip over to this other model and go back to, where do I want to go back to? Northern Plains? Come on, computer. Not much in the afternoon. Yeah, hail is in the morning. About that size. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I was watching it. I was on live in the morning, and just kind of watching it, and it was, yeah, that was interesting. That was fun to watch. I mean, it was fun to watch. Glad I wasn't in it. Then for St. Cloud Thursday, again, kind of in that same time frame, we've got storms developing to your west and rolling through, more wind coming through. Pretty good chance of probably some strong winds rolling through between that 9 to 11 p.m. time frame. So my area, Traverse City, Michigan. Yeah, I suppose those storms are rolling through Michigan right now. Oklahoma, they get nailed real soon. I bet they did. Yeah, you guys down in Oklahoma had a few rounds of storms down there. Again, I just, I try to keep my focus up in the northern plains, the Dakotas, Minnesota. A lot of times it's flyover country. You've got all these other guys that like to talk about the severe weather everywhere else. You know who they are if you watch them. I live and grew up around here. I know I keep tabs of the weather around here. I know the area. I know how the weather works a lot better up here than anywhere else. So this is kind of where I put my focus. I've been had the pleasure of doing meteorology here, working for airlines, doing some road weather work, going storm chasing up here. So pretty much where I like to keep my focus anyway. Logan, that's a good question, Logan. Wednesday or Thursday for you around St. Cloud, Morris County, or what, Morrison County. I think Thursday is more potent. I guess if I had to pick one over the other, just because you're going to have that line that's going to be developing, that cold front's going to be moving through and developing that line. So I think that's got the stronger possibility of that bowing to occur with these storms. So I would think I would think that would be the I guess if I had to pick a day, I think Thursday night would be the worst one. But I not to say though, you're going to be on that northern periphery on Wednesday night. So I think the chances there obviously for Wednesday night, but a better chance for Thursday night. Tornado hit a weed farm. I saw that. That was crazy. I think there was a few people that talked about that. I think Reed Timmer was pretty psyched about that. Speaking of that, storm chasers, man, they're gonna be up here, especially Thursday. It's gonna be the only play in town. So, right screen. On Thursday, if you wanted to see some of these guys, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they come up and maybe either come up to the Twin Cities Wednesday or Sioux Falls, or who knows, maybe they'll come up and stop in Fargo. So if you're one of those people who like to follow some of these more high profile guys, you can see the Northern Plains is where it's at. Reed Timmer was talking about this area on his broadcast earlier today. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a few of them up here at all. But yeah, hit the weed farm. Well, that was going to happen eventually, right? Eventually a weed farm was going to get nailed. Please, if you're around the area, if you live in the area, if you know somebody who lives in this area in the Dakotas, Minnesota, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, Once again, I do this kind of because this is my passion. I want to get back into the meteorology end of it. Just always, this is just something I do on the side. This is my side hustle in a way. I hope some would fall in my yard. I bet a lot of people did. I bet you weren't the only one. Hopefully one hits I don't know, a beer factory or something. That'd be more my speed. A brewery. Yeah, hit the subscribe button. I've been doing this, been in the meteorology for a while, keeping my eye on the north, been following the winter storms and the blizzards and all that fun stuff. Man, the last few months have been crazy with all the winter weather we've been having, and just we've got areas up here that didn't have anything we're dry, we're in the drought, and then got 48 inches of snow over 2 days. I mean, there's no lakes around. We're in the middle of a landmass here. There's no water around here. And 2 days, there was one area up in the north central part that got 48 inches of snow. So that's pretty unbelievable. But just it's been an interesting few months around here up in the northern plains over flyover country. Thankfully, some of you guys, that's what I was going to check, the drought monitor. But yeah, some of you guys up in the northwest are going to be getting some beneficial rains, as well as I think in southern parts of South Dakota. That's what I was going to look at. I'm trying to remember how dry they are nowadays. What is it? Oh, what am I looking at? Anybody remember where I find this again? Looking for the drought monitor. I just never seem to remember. I swear they moved that thing on me. Drought. SPC winter. What am I looking for? God, I'm all kinds of confused right now. Drought monitor. Yeah, observe. I don't want that. Oh my goodness. This? I don't think it's this. That's not what I want. I don't know, man. I'm going crazy. I've been going crazy. Here, let's do this. I'm going to be on live here Wednesday, probably for sure on Thursday. And because we got to be keeping an eye on the weather. So we're going to be watching all the storms as they develop and let you know where they're heading, when they're severe, which way they're heading, where they're expected to go. Yeah, so this is where I was kind of looking. This is where not the best thing I was looking for, but still a little dry up in the northwest, and then yeah, through southern and western portions of South Dakota. So South Dakota and western portions of North Dakota could use all the rain they can get. I think Minnesota really has improved. There were some areas up in the north central parts of the state that were really dry, but that's obviously gone away. Plowed every week last winter and only once the year before. Wow, that's yep. And now are you're not out in the field yet, are you, Ray? You've been getting plenty of rain down there as well as us in the Red River Valley. So it's, man, just so much rain lately. It's just, we had a nice rain here a few days ago, just straight down rain, good moderate rain. I'm just like, if it hadn't rained for, if we haven't gotten 2 inches every 3 days, that would have been a great rain. Would have been just one of those days you wanted to sleep in on. But oh man, I'm just at this point now, I'm just like, I'm just kind of sick of rain. Yeah, ticks, fleas, mosquitoes, silverfish. God, what else? My brother-in-law say, oh, muskrats. Muskrats, they love. Yeah. We'll see how many. See if there's going to be a lot of muskrats out. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, you got some pretty strong winds there then. Okay. The orchard is still dominant. Oh, orchard. Nice. Or dormant. Dormant. So am I understanding right? Is that kind of what you do, Ray? I mean, you that's apples. That's what you do. That's what you farm. Is that what the deal is? Logan, so you said north of St. Cloud? Is that what you said? I know you said Morrison. You know, oh wow. Holy cow. That's awesome. That is really cool. So around St. Cloud, huh? You got a orchard. Okay. That's really cool. Yeah, what do I, I'm trying to think as I go down to 94 or go down 94 towards the cities. And there's a few things like that because there's somebody that's got a, what is it, like a strawberry? Is it a strawberry thing? It's like on the, gosh, I can't remember. I can visualize it, but it's kind of on the south side of 94 as you're heading down to the cities. So, and it's not quite down as far as St. Cloud, but I want to say it's kind of Alexandria, maybe Sauk Center, or not Sauk Center, but somewhere beyond Alexandria. Just a hobby, okay. That's well, that's pretty cool. A hobby, 300, how many crisp trees? Oh, Grand Marais. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I keep thinking St. Cloud. You asked about, I had somebody talk about St. Cloud. Excuse me. Yeah. Yep, Grand Marais. Shoot. That's pretty cool. I've never been up to the Arrowhead region. I've been up to Duluth a couple times only, and that was nice. God, yeah, sorry. Jesus, I'm thinking, I had two people ask me about St. Cloud, and I was thinking you were one of them. I apologize, Ray. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure not. I guess that doesn't surprise me then. You guys have been cool. Was it last week? I noticed that you had, there was still, snow up, showing up on the satellite up there. And even within some of the inlets of Lake Superior there was still some ice. So yeah, I would assume they're probably dormant. That makes a lot more sense. But I was just thinking here, even here, I'm in Grand Forks, and God, the trees just aren't budding much yet, and it's where am I looking here? And it just seems kind of late, especially compared to last year. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's just all the rain and cool temperatures we've had. But yeah, I would bet you don't. Yeah, it never ends up there. Yeah. I've seen pictures and people keep saying it's beautiful up there, but I don't know. I think I just want to visit. I don't know if I'd want to live up there. All right, folks. That's been pretty cool chatting. That's been fun. Just north of St. Cloud. Who was the other one that asked me? I don't know. Oh yeah, John asked me about St. Cloud. That's where I was getting confused. John and Logan Ray asked me about Grand Marais. I had the wrong person in mind. But yeah, I think I'm going to sign off. I got one other thing I got to do. I said I was going to sign off a long time ago, but I got chatting. Okay, sure. Okay, I'm going to be on tomorrow, hopefully. If all else, I'll be on later in the day. I do have a full-time job, but I've got a real cool employer that lets me get some other things done or do things if I want. So we'll see what kind of day I have tomorrow for sure. But for sure, I am going to be here Thursday. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button, and we're gonna watch out. We're gonna be watching these storms as they develop over the next couple of days up in through the northern plains, up north here. So if nobody else got any questions, I'm gonna bug out, folks. I've got more work to do and I gotta get to bed. It's getting late. Veggies are way behind Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. Down in Oklahoma, I assume. Yeah, been weird. Been a strange spring, that's for sure. Okay. Yep, I'm gonna call it at 11:20. So I don't know how delayed you are watching this, but you got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes and I want a drink. So, yeah, just a quick recap here before I sign off here in the next 2 minutes. We're looking at these. Well, here we go. So we're going to be looking at storms developing later today down in through the Yankton, Sioux Falls area. Sioux City, and those are going to be quickly moving to the north and east. Primary threat initially going to be hail and maybe the possibility of a few tornadoes. And then a line's going to develop and move to the northeast and roll through areas from about St. Cloud, maybe even as far north as Brainerd, on south into Iowa through the overnight hours, and it's going to turn into a damaging wind event. Now there's going to be an area of storms that develop further north along the low-level jet, kind of with an upper-level warm front that's going to develop kind of somewhere in through here. Just depends on what model you go through or what model you look at. So possibility of some hail with that in the afternoon hours on Wednesday. And just depends on how some of these develop. One of these other models have some of these storms dipping a little bit further south before this line gets here. And if that happens, the hail threat will kind of meander further south, and along with maybe an isolated tornado threat as well. And then those move off. We get some storms develop overnight, Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. Once again, along the nose of a low-level jet. Those are going to move off to the northeast. The atmosphere is going to rebound, and we're going to get another line developing kind of in an arc in through here through the late afternoon and evening hours. Best chance for tornadic activity right now looks like it's going to be basically right, we're going to call it kind of right through there. So we're going to have to watch that area for Thursday, late Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening. And then as that line develops and this line kind of curves like this is going to shoot off to the north and east or very rapidly. And this is going to push quickly to the east. And this area will also have to be watched for the possibility of some QLCS type tornadic activity. And what that is just some embedded brief tornadoes that might spin up as this line quickly moves to the east, becomes a damaging wind event, and rolls through the rest of Minnesota through the overnight hours. So that's basically what we're looking at. That's the severe threat. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Thank you all for watching.